Welcome to today's Lama Drives, our general chit-chat show as we drive places, and some of the times Lama doesn't drive. Von's behind the wheel. How you doing, Von?
I'm good.
You good?
Yep, I'm trucking.
You're trucking. Awesome. By the way, the camera may get a little bit glary because, again, it's sunset time, but we've put that little hat on the camera, so hopefully it's all good.
Sunset isn't going to be for a while. It's summer here in Australia, so it will live on for a few more hours.
The sun's been hanging long in the sky lately, but the temperature is turning a little bit. No longer around 40-degree days hanging around. Had 35 the other day. That was nice. It's going to warm up this week, but there's been a few chilly nights. So hopefully where you're watching from, if you've been snowed in, the snow is sort of going away a little bit. But speaking of different climates, Von, you're just back from the States.
I am. I was in Seattle last week, in Washington, and it was cold, it was wet, it was snowing, it was raining.
Now you flew in just as they had Snowmageddon?
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah. So they weren't sure. Some of the flights got cancelled. They weren't sure about mine, but I managed to make it through with minimal delay. I think they even brought forward one of my flights by half an hour, which is something I've never heard of before, to beat the weather. And that was fantastic. We landed, everything was beautiful, covered in snow, just such a stark contrast to this brown,
everything's
dry
dead down here. Which is still beautiful, we love it.
Yeah, I mean, the top of Australia right now has had massive floods.
It's wet season up there because it's in the tropics,
Yeah, they've had massive floods, and it was, definitely a shock to the system as well to be in that really cold, dry climate. My hands just immediately started to chafe up, like all of the skin. It was really bizarre. Yeah. I was wearing gloves as well, so I haven't worn gloves in quite some time now.
It's been a while, no. So the summer is dragging on here, which is good. It's still nice. So it's still nice, mild, warm weather, but not steaming hot. So no, it's all good. Cool. And you brought home some Cliff Bars.
I did. I went to REI, went and got Cliff Bars. I also went and checked out the Rafa Seattle store, because that hadn't quite opened when I was there last time 2 years ago. It was going to open the very next month, so that was awesome to pop in the store and try on a few items that I'd had my eye on.
Did you buy anything from Rafa there?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because they just released all the new range of women's gear in the very next week. No. I didn't have access to even see it in store when I was there. So, otherwise it would have been, I use my allowance for bike things on where I could buy even newer bike things in the future.
Nice one. So while you're away, I did the Ballarat Classic, 100Ks.
Yes, I missed that.
That was around pretty much exactly where we are now. It was just out the road there and looped around where we're driving, and beautiful day for it.
Yeah.
It was arm warmers in the morning. It was 7:30 in the morning. I rolled down just with arm warmers, and then at the start line, arm warmers came off because it was nice and warm in the sun. I think they had around 1,500 to 2,000 people, I believe.
Ooh, that's not bad.
I don't know the exact numbers. On Strava flybys, it said I grabbed the numbers that night, I flew by 370 riders. Typically when I go for a ride here in Ballarat, I fly by 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people around. No, fantastic, and good to see a lot of people in our hometown on bikes. Weather was perfect. Bit of a headwind home. That kind of sucked, but
there's always a headwind somewhere.
Other than that, it was pretty neat. The bike held up beautifully. What did I do the night before servicing-wise? I took the chain off, ultrasonic cleaned it, re-oiled, re-lubed, cleaned everything.
Nice.
GP5000 TLs, the tubeless version of those, held up no problem. So things are ticking along pretty well. And it was a good day out, 3 hours or so in the saddle. Cycling Maven made an appearance.
Oh, you caught up with Maeve?
The Maeve was in town.
Mark
Ferguson. So I caught up with Maeve for the first 10Ks, and we had a chat as we were riding along.
Sorry to have missed him.
And he did, I took off before the other turn, so I think he did a 60K route that day. Hopefully he's got some footage for a vlog or a blog of the day, because we had a good chat.
Great.
What else happened? That was about it. It was, I sort of jumped between bunches out on the road, just sort of bunny hop between a few. If I could pull a turn on the front of a bunch and before I sort of swung past, but it was all good, and proud to be an ambassador for the ride.
So good stuff.
Yeah, it was
all good. Have to do it next year.
For sure. I think this was the 3rd or 4th time I've done it. You did it one year when we lived in Melbourne. We drove up here to do it, and I came and helped you out for that day.
That was appreciated.
It's pretty cool. Hopefully it still runs next year. It's all good. Speaking of Ballarat things in the bike, today DrSLane was in the house. He dropped over. Now, Slane is my inspiration for bike tinkering, because Slane loves a good tinker with his bikes, upgrades. He's a weight weenie with a few parts.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to pick his brain about was the Di2 rewiring on the Giant bike that I have. The Giant bike comes with, well, look, not to be too derogatory towards Giant, I call it a supermarket trolley. It's kind of for everyone kind of bike. Easy to put together out of the box. It's just...
Well, that's why it's at the low price point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is just refining every little part. So adding the wireless controller to it, adding the climbing shifter, and there's just some wiring I want to hide away. It's nice and neat if you want to work on it with Di2. There's a Y junction on the levers, which means there's a few wires hanging out. We're going to tidy all that up, but I wanted Slane's opinion and knowledge about where things all hook together. So I'll put up a photo here of Slane ripping out my bottom bracket cover and yanking on all my cables and finding out where the 4-port junction box was underneath. In conversation, I said to Slane about the brakes and the brake pull, and yep, we were across that. We sat down and did a bit of research on that for the hydros, which led us straight back to Rides of Japan. Who's a fantastic, again, links below to Rides of Japan. Love his work. He's got a 2-minute video on the, it's called the pull and squish, pull and reach, pull and yank, pull and tug. No, there's a term for it about reach of the lever and also the squishiness. I forget the exact word. Links below to Rides of Japan.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I'm going to tinker around with that. I'll do a video on it because I'm still learning about Di2 and configuring things. And I'm sure people out there either have a similar setup or just like watching bike stuff.
Hydros works.
Yeah. So the idea is to pull the brake levers, to have them nice and tight so the braking is right there, not all the way in. There's a bit too much movement. So Slane was around, we're looking at that today, and so the whole rewiring project is coming up. Can't wait. Expensive cables though.
Oh.
But if you do it once and do it right, it's all good. Speaking of equipment on the bike, the 4i's power meter. I've always referred to them as 4i, because I don't say the I's. The company calls themselves 4i's. That video is doing really well. It's 11,000 views, not just a power meter, but it's one that works. Dual left-right power meter on a carbon crankset. The reason why carbon is quite interesting as a crankset, as a power meter, is because the deflection properties of carbon is a lot different and less uniform than that of an alloy crank. So that was good to see the data come out. And my yardstick, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the video, I may have, but my yardstick for power meters are, at the end of the day, is it a power meter that I will trust and use up against other power meters to say, yes, that is still good, or that's a known good source?
Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
That one was. I struggled with the Vector 3s early on to say that. I struggled with the Zwat one the other day to say that. The Vector 3s now are pretty good. But the Asiomas still hold a place in my heart where I thought the Asiomas were like, who is that? Really? Come on. The B Pros, I gave them, I'm like, whoa, hang on, we've got something good here. So that's why the Asiomas are still bouncing around. Yeah. Stay tuned on the Asiomas. I believe there's a firmware update coming out for those soon.
Ooh.
So whether it won't change the ride experience, they're just a pedal. But I'll be across all the features and things. So I've been in touch with Favero, because when a product works, I continually email the company saying, what's next? Have you got anything else cool coming along?
What else can they do? What, add road fuel? It's like pedaling through mud.
Yeah, but you do pedal through mud because they're out. Okay,
bad joke.
Today's live stream, I spun up a live stream for the Lama Lab Test.
Yeah.
Where it's all, I was going to say no holds barred, gloves off, just all the nuts and bolts of what happens during a Lama Lab Test. Whether the numbers are good or bad, it's just a Lama Lab Test. Which is really handy because I can talk to the people viewing, and we have good conversations and chats about things as I'm doing the 200 watts and the 250 watts, and I get heckled about my heart rate going too high because I'm unfit, and then I get heckled because I'm talking through the 450 watt zones. That was a bit of fun. That was with the stages left-right. DrSLane 9100 crankset.
It looks pretty.
Seriously, look at this. I put the photo up here. I put this one up on Instagram the other day. It looks so good. I've always loved the look of DrSLane stuff. So I'll be putting that data to the test on the DC Aeromecha analysis site very soon.
We'll see if the data looks pretty.
I hope so. It didn't. I've had the crankset for a couple of months. The early data didn't look too good. There's a bit of dialogue between stages and myself going, I'm like, guys, what's going on? I'm sort of poking at it. There have been 2 firmware revisions since.
Okay.
So I've done the latest firmware update and I've done the full retest. We shall see how that goes. So stay tuned on that one. Should be pretty cool. I try and keep my videos under 10 minutes because I do respect people's attention spans. I try. Because I said I was going to do the ZWOT power meter. No, it was the 4i power meter. If it just works, I'll keep it under 10 minutes because we're done. But by the time I told the story of the background of the company and what they do, and it got to like 14 minutes, so I do apologise. I'll try and keep them short. These ones, I don't care. Llama Lives, we're going places.
We're driving places.
We're going places. Speaking of going places, Digital Peloton News. I have another episode in the works with that. So stay tuned for that. I like to get those out just before the weekend, if I can.
Yes, I need the latest news.
Exactly.
Stat.
Short snippets. So watch for that. Going all to plan tomorrow. Next on my list here, I'm back to the US. I just booked some flights to the US. So you've just come back.
Yes.
Tag team, I'm going back to the States.
All right.
So early March, I'll be over for a week to attend Zwift Week.
Oh, okay.
Now, I've been invited over to Zwift Week. Last year, I did the Zwift offsite with the company for at Ojai. I was going to call it Ohio. Haha, in joke there for Zwifters. Ojai.
Yeah.
In California, where we're just involved with the company. That was more of a. The company had gone from this many people to tons of people. So there's a lot of background of the company and just getting to know who each others were. But I was there with the ZwiftCast. I'm a member of, or panelist on the ZwiftCast podcast. So invited back again this year for their Zwift Week. Looking forward to that. Hopefully we can do some ZwiftCast content. If not, it'll be, I guess, planning out where the ZwiftCast is heading and the topics we'll talk about. Just share the love of riding indoors.
Great.
And not just all about Zwift as well. I mean, there's a lot of hardware tech that Zwift have access to that we can see. So as you've seen with this channel lately, there hasn't been a lot of Zwift content because I haven't been riding on Zwift. There's been a lot of bike tech stuff. And now Zwift are really ingraining themselves into the bike tech industry because they're going to have to. And we're talking power meters and trainers. They have to interact with all that. So all good stuff. Looking forward to that. Speaking of the ZwiftCast, episode 61 is coming up this week, we hope.
Ah, great.
We're just trying to align the schedules. There's 3 of us, so we have to triangulate schedules.
Synchronized watches.
Exactly, all right. Or Apple Watches that, I've charged my Apple Watch.
Ah, you've now got notifications.
So yeah, watch for episode 61. Links below to the ZwiftCast. I love recording that. It's just a chance, just like these, for me to talk Zwift, talk bike, talk what I'm up to. Simon sends us a script to go through. I'm now making a few little notes, but I could talk about this stuff all day. It's too easy. So
I know.
Hence why, Sheep Patrol. Hence why the live stream stuff's really easy for me to do. Just if people prompt me for questions, love trying to answer them as best I can, and being challenged as well. Like Simon, if we talk some hard topics on there.
Yeah,
we do.
And you're not always in alignment, which I think is why it's good to have different point of views.
We come from again, we train. I'm the Aussie. Nathan's from America. Simon's the Brit. So we're all coming from different angles and at different times of the day. So I think our energy levels are a bit different at any time of the day. But I think Nathan's always excited. Speaking of Nathan's excitement, the KISS Community League, the KISS Community League, that's coming up soon. The KISS Pro Cycling Leagues for the women and men. So both women and men now series are kicking off. The women's started the other day.
Yeah, I saw some Instagram, Kenyon's SRAM team for
that.
Yeah,
I think the All-Stars from the Zwift women's side won it rather than the pros. So sticking it to them. It's about knowing the platform, knowing how to ride. Nathan's commentary is awesome on that. So doing really well on all the live streams.
Great.
So tune into those if you can. I think the live streams are 5 a.m. here.
Ooh,
yeah, it's a bit harsh. I'm a big believer of the replay later on. But that's all cool. And I think they're tooling up. They're tooling up in regards to their presentation and what they're showing on screen. Now they've got a kilometres to go, so you know what's going on. I think they even had this week the how far or which bunch you're in, how far to go, and lead bunch, chase bunch, etc.
So you can follow what's happening on screen as they switch.
Yep.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that. All things Zwiftage. Von.
Yes.
Bike updates. We did the test rides, and we were asked on live stream today, have Kenyon been in contact? You haven't been around. You've been out.
I've been checking my email, but I haven't heard from them.
And I know they've got your email because you had to sign it in for your disclaimer waiver thing. Okay, so no news on the bike stuff.
No,
cool.
no. But look, in all honesty, since Tour Down Under, I have been absolutely flat stick with work.
All right.
Things have really ramped up because it's the start of the business year for work in Australia. So I'm going to be travelling a lot with work for the next few months, right through to mid-year. So
what you're saying is you're waiting for SRAM Access to come down in price before you go 12 speed.
I'm keeping my options open.
Speaking of that, new chain for SRAM Access in Australia. I'm just looking at the prices and all that. I think the new chain's about 160 to 170 Aussie dollars.
What?
Rear cassette.
You could buy like a silver necklace for that.
Gold plated. The rear cassette.
Yeah.
$570.
Okay.
They're meant to last a little longer because they're built out of stramtanium. They're built out of the tears of people who can't afford it. However, holy shit, that's a lot of money.
No, that's how they're greased.
They're greased with the tears of people who can't afford it. Yes. Do we leave the packing grease on? Oh yeah. It lasts twice as long. There's a lot of misery there for people who. That's a lot of money. Look, it's good equipment. There's no question about it. As I said in my 4 Eyes video the other day, give me something that's twice the price if it just works and just lasts. There's a big difference between does something work, yes or no? Is something a bit flaky, yes or no? Is it a bit shit, yes or no? When it comes to a cassette, it's a cassette. Does it work? Of course it bloody does. 105 does. Force does. SRAM Force ETAP should be announced, or like there's talking and discussion about it. So bringing that higher spec tech down to the more consumable level.
Nice.
So yeah, keep your eyes open for that. I was going to say steer clear of that. That's not what I meant.
Again.
I cut the other one out. No one saw that.
You can put that in the blooper reel at the end.
Alrighty. So okay, that's about all the bike news. Actually, no. Technically, yes. That is all the bike news I have. But I have one more thing on here that is, I'm not going to call it cycling related because every single media and PR thing they put up, regardless of their company name, doesn't have a bike in it. Vaughn, you rode the Peloton in the States.
I did.
What?
I did.
What?
Oh, God. The first thing I want to say is I love riding with bike shoes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So this was Peloton does come with look-compatible cleats. So this was just an erg in a
hotel
gym. Yes.
An erg. It was a Peloton setup in the hotel gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So I had my first opportunity.
Just a camera hat here. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my first opportunity to try it out as literally a cold call, walk up, figure it out myself. It was, a really interesting experience. So I'm happy to share that with you guys if you want to know about it.
Do we want to hear Vaughn's take on Peloton? This isn't live. We're going to hear Vaughn's take on Peloton. Look, first of all, I've praised their service offering. From a service offering point of view, it's clean, the marketing is good, even though they've got Peloton written all over them and there's just people standing there in tights with no bikes. What the? That aside, I could do a parody account easily with inserting bikes into Peloton's PR shots to make it a Peloton. It's like Peloton with bikes. Anyhow, that aside, it's polished, it's clean, PR's good, service offering is schmick, slick, professionals presenting it and doing training workouts.
Yeah.
It's an all-in-one service, and that's one thing that is probably the number one thing for me is their service delivery is from start to finish, the customer experience. Other than your internet connection, they're responsible for it. And as a company, you're like, that's what we want. We want to entirely embrace the consumer and help them out from start to finish in the entire experience. And they'll then wear your t-shirt. How was that experience?
I would say it was one of my better gym bike experiences.
Well, that's not too hard given how shit most gym bikes are.
Yeah. Normally, for those that haven't been exposed to some of the higher end gyms, you'll have like maybe a movement counter or intervals that you might see on screen that are, from a digital little readout, or you might have a TV screen that would show you some TV shows that you could watch.
The new ones have YouTube on them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, some of them have interactive displays that you can watch other things like Netflix and YouTube and stuff like that. I even loaded one of your videos on one in Ballarat.
Did you watch the ads?
Yes, and set it on a loop just so that you could get some views up. But they also, in the same vein, had a track simulator on that bike as well, so you could try and do flying 100s or whatever.
Yeah, sweet. That was on the Peloton bike, yeah? No, that was on the other bike.
So that's what other gym bikes are like. Right. So my experience in using the Peloton bike was very similar setup to every other gym bike. So you had knobs where you could adjust seat height, adjustment, the reach, those kind of physical elements. I was really impressed by the screen. You could adjust the tilt of the screen. The screen was as wide as the handlebars, if not wider.
So that'll be kind of cool on a Zwift machine, like a big screen in the front, like rather. Okay, cool.
So that was great. So it's like having the presenter in front of you. Mm-hmm. That was great. So comfort was good. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned about the pedals, I have look pedals on one side, and then they had toe clip pins on the other. Yep. And I didn't take bike shoes with me. I just had some hiking boots that I wore for the session. And the first thing I noticed was the flex through my shoe. Oh yeah. And then at one point, it's a fixed gear bike, right? So there's and my foot's actually flipped out of the thing, and
didn't come around and hit your leg.
No.
Okay.
God. I've hit the stop button like immediately.
Oh, there's an emergency.
Yeah.
No Pelo button.
Yeah. So yes, I was glad that was while I was warming up and getting prepped and orientated. So that was good. Yep. So all of those things were great. Yep. Then onto the actual user experience. I had with me my heart rate monitor. Yep. I could hook that up. I also had with me Bluetooth headphones that I could hook up to it. So I had direct experience like I do at home with Zwifting and interacting that way. So that was awesome. They had some introductory videos that showed you how to set yourself up if you had no fucking idea as well. Okay. But yeah, I was good for that. So I just went and chose a workout that fitted my timeline for how much time I had to spend and something that interested me. So I picked something that was 45 minutes and had, I think that it was like a dance beat class kind of music that would keep me entertained, because I wasn't sure what I was going to get in terms of the workout for that, but I thought at least, and they listed the artists. They had like
no, don't mention artists, we'll get done for copyright.
Yes, popular names.
Okay, popular names.
That I would
that singer.
Recognize. Yes. So that was cool. Then in the actual session itself, it showed me my heart rate info. It showed me the power, because it's based on a fixed gear bike. So
Peloton
it knows
is power training. It's power based. They're educating the masses and people who are using them how to train with power, which is pretty cool.
And I was able to put in my FTP because I roundabout know what it is. Yeah. And I was able to link it up directly to my Strava account as well.
There you go.
So using a guest login, I could log in and push my info to the cloud as well for my personalized workout to whatever I ended up doing that day. And
don't worry, we also post on Strava.
Yeah, so that was good. Now, in terms of how the presenter provided that individualized workout to people, it was based on cadence. So you want to be doing a cadence of 50 for this next interval. And she was measuring the timeline for the intervals that you were doing, and intervals, timeline.
But overall, the overall experience, they just it was familiar for you.
Yeah.
So you were familiar with FTP and power, cadence, hooking up your heart rate stuff, logging into Strava. All the interactivity was there.
That was all there. The workout itself was fine.
How was the presenter?
That was probably the one differentiator, right? So for every other thing that you do, you don't actually have a presenter interacting with you. Yeah. You might have beeps on the screen saying 3, 2, 1 or stuff like that.
It's a human.
Yeah, so it was, and they guided you through the workout.
Okay.
So you had to listen to them because it wasn't going to come up on screen that interval 2 is coming up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unless I missed where that was on the display.
Okay. Did you feel accountable to that presenter? I mean, that's the big thing about the psychology of being in a group environment where there's an instructor they're yelling at you, you're more...
I felt motivated by them.
Okay, there you go. So
I don't know if I necessarily felt accountable, but I operated within the zones, and on the
flip side, if you didn't do the interval, like they were yelling at you, you would have felt guilty. Like, oh, I'm kind of missing out here. So it kind of works in a bit of FOMO.
Yeah.
A bit of...
Yeah. I can see if you did that session live, because I did it replayed 2 hours later, that there was also some interactivity from the presenter.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Calling out names on screen and stuff like that.
I see that as being a massive grab for people who are like, you're at home spinning away. It's like, holy crap, I've been called out here. I've always thought that an awesome little scenario, here's my thought of the day. I have many thoughts, but I think this one's worth talking about. In Zwift, imagine if you had an instructor in Zwift and you had a group ride that I was to spin up a group ride. We had, say, 40 or 50 of us.
Yeah.
And you were all live and interacting either, hopefully, by chat. But there was one instructor yelling out, say, me? It's like, right, John S., you attack now. Bang, John S. has to go off the front. That's his workout. He gets a bit of a sprint workout because I know John S. is a sprinter. So bang, you attack. Right, everyone else, get into a pace line. Let's work turns to pull John back over 5 minutes, but not too fast. John's up the road, and he's now just dangling there and slowly fading. And you can call people out, and you can make a workout interactive on the fly. I reckon that would be absolutely brilliant. It doesn't scale too well, but sometimes it's not about scale. It's about providing an experience that people want to come back for.
Yeah.
I reckon that would be absolutely brilliant.
And that they feel welcome to participate.
I'd join a group of 100, and knowing that 5 people in that group will be called out at any time to attack off the front, or maybe stop pedaling for 30 seconds so you drop off the back. And then you've got to chase on. You've got 5 people, 5 random names called, you've got to stop pedaling, then you've got to chase back on. Make a sport of it. I reckon that'd be super cool. It's totally possible with the tech that we have. Things need to be a little bit more real-time and interactive, but I can see that happening, and I can see how Peloton, how it incentivizes people to, if they're getting called out, you're going to work hard. Hey, what are those? And those presenters become pretty famous.
That's great.
They're little superstars in that little niche. So, awesome. Okay, so out of 10. I mean, effectively, so the bike is a fixed gear.
Yeah.
You can't stop turning.
Yep.
It's non-interactive, so you've got to do the knob.
Yes, you
turning.
do.
That aside, a good experience?
Yeah, out of a 10 rating, I'd probably give it about a 7 to 8.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And the ride feel, the inertia, the pedal stroke. Did it feel like you were riding a bike, or...
It felt like I was on a spin bike.
Okay, because it kicked over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a track bike.
I don't know.
Did it have any give side to side? Or was it like riding a fence post with a saddle on it? That's my concern about the new smart bikes.
Well, it's also interesting, right? So if you're doing a bit of wobble, how's your screen going to go and all of that?
Oh, good call.
Because you kind of do want it. The other thing that they did as part of this specific workout was they had 3 minutes of arm weights that they incorporated into it, and they also did some stretching in the end. So they showed how you could, when you're out of saddle, like you wouldn't do this if you were riding a normal bike ride, but you'd be throwing your body weight back off the bike and then stretching forward and things like that you wouldn't normally do, but it's using the equipment that you have to have appropriate stretching.
Because they have weight holders on the back of the bikes, and they're behind the seats. If you got a tri-bike indoors, you could replace the drink bottles with a couple of weights. No, look, and it's not about, I mean, I scoff at that because I'm like, I'm a pure roadie. What the hell are they doing with their arms? You know, you're going to strip all that weight. Cool.
Talking about fitness here.
It's fitness. It's a different demo. Totally. Cool. Okay. Thanks for giving us some feedback on the Peloton model. I still praise the Peloton model. I think and I think Zwift do as well. I think that's where they're heading with the user experience and the hardware and getting it nailed down. The biggest part, or the progression for Peloton, which are they going to go this way or not? They need interactive trainers. They really need interactive bikes. None of this turny crap. But then you're going to have to teach people about changing gears. Because there's no gears on the Peloton bike, is there?
No, there's just the resistance knob.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there's simplification of the technology. We shall see. So on my list of MIA is the Tax Neo bike, the Garmin Neo bike. Yeah. So will they call it the Geo bike now that it's owned by Garmin?
Geo.
Will they bring out a GPS unit for that bike which goes nowhere? That is the question. Turn-by-turn navigation? Who knows? Anyway, interesting stuff. I still, again, all credit to Peloton. I think Peloton have been inserting ads on my video, so they're watching. They're watching. Give me a call. We'll review a bike one day. Next up, just a bit of housekeeping on YouTube. Here's an interesting one. Disney and Nestle have pulled YouTube ads this week due to concerns about content being posted up on YouTube. Now, how does this impact me and impact other channels that you watch? Monetization. You have two very big companies who bid for ad space on YouTube, and they pay pre-rolls and other little things to see on screen. If a bigger company pulls out due to an ad, due to other content on other channels that is completely unrelated, that impacts everyone across the board.
Well, advertisers have done that in the past, haven't they?
They have.
The Logan Paul stuff,
yeah. They come back once YouTube sort their shit out, but it's just this ongoing battle. And at the end of the day, caught in the crossfire are people like me. It is horrendous. I'm here so as a platform, again, just some background into the YouTube and inner workings.
You don't get to choose who advertises on you, do you?
No. I think you can go to AdSense and put some blocks on certain companies. I'm just like default, leave it, whatever. If someone wants to put an ad on my stuff, great, no worries. If you're on YouTube Red or YouTube Premium, you don't see those ads, all good. And it pays for the coffees, it pays for lunch. But then when someone else does something totally unrelated, totally different genre, totally somewhere else, and then an advertiser pulls out, that impacts everyone. It's just a shite model. It also explains why a lot of the bigger channels who are like monsters will do in pre-roll advertising themselves. They'll say, look, this video is brought to you by or produced by or enabled by or whatever as part of their intro and things, because they have full control of that. Someone like me to date has no control over that. So let's just say Nestle or Disney. Well, in Australia, Cadbury, which is another chocolate company, advertise on my videos. I have a look at that because I can open an incognito window and see who's advertising. Because
I've seen the Cadbury ads.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool. Let's just say they're like, well, okay, well Nestle are pulling out. We're similar. Let's pull our ads as well. Not through any of the content that I've done.
Yeah.
I could put out awesome videos. Well, I try. Some are okay. It has a monetary impact on what I do.
Yeah.
Total shite. But that explains why, if you're watching other videos, which no doubt you do if you're watching this one, a lot of people take control of their own advertising in channel.
Have you also seen that Disney have taken on to stream their own content now? They're not going to license out to Netflix or anything like that.
No, I'm not across.
Yeah, because they've got enough content, right?
Oh, yeah.
And all the movies that they produce and all the TV shows, so they're going to have a Disney-only company.
Streaming channel. Yeah, or the streaming service. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yep.
Interesting stuff. Well, the list is away. We are through it all. Anything else to bring up?
No further business, sir.
No further business? We shall call an official halt to today's proceedings as we go past the truck with a trebuchet in the back there.
I don't know.
What the hell is he doing?
He's been to IKEA, I think.
It's probably going to come through on camera in just a few moments.
Yeah.
He's going to get home and have a few massive kebab of birds and things he hits. Anyhow, we're well off topic. Hope everyone is well. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. Thanks for sticking around for this one as we just banter about what's up. But yeah, so coming up this week, hopefully a few more videos, the digital Peloton news, some ZwiftCast stuff, the left-right stages. I have the crown rollers still sitting there ready to roll, literally. So I'm keen to get on the crown rollers and have a look. And I'm going to try and put the crown rollers. They're the parabolic rollers that I said at Interbike, these ain't going to work, guys. What the hell? I jumped on them and went, how wrong was I? I'm not sure I could do the Lama Lab Test on them because I'm not quite sure how much resistance they're going to have.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
We shall soon find out. So stay tuned for that. That'll be a bit of fun. And again, more outdoor rides. I'm finally ahead of pace on Strava. I have 12,000 Ks a year on Strava as my goal, so 1,000 Ks a month. I'm ahead of pace by 8 kilometres today. I'm in the green.
I thought you were going to say a lot more than that.
I only need to be, look, hey, you only need to finish, you only need to do what needs to be done. And I've done 8 kilometres more than I've needed to. Tomorrow's a rest day.
Just have a think about August, September.
And that week I'm having off next month in the US. Yes. I'm shagged.
Yeah.
All right, time to get out and get some more Ks in. Hopefully you are as well. Get out, ride your bike. It's all about riding bikes where you can and when you can, indoors or out. And if you spot any technology, any topics you want to have a chat about, anything you think I should be interested in, comments below.
Yeah.
Always interested. The source of a lot of my information are other people. I do browse all the forums and I email the company. I see what's new, but it's mostly what people are interested in. That's what keeps things alive. And if you're interested in it, high chance that I will be as well. So share below. Let us know. Digital Peloton news stuff or anything. All right, we'll leave it there for today. Hopefully the sun hasn't been too bad. Still been up for a while. Thanks for coming, Von.
I wouldn't miss it.
You can't.